This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
I have someone very special from the Royal Canadian Geological Society. They are doing a special dive to a ship, the Quest. It was the last, ship for famed Antarctic explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton. Went down in the Labrador Sea. And with me, I have Antoine Normandin. Antoine, welcome to Open Line.
Thank you.
Okay, so look, you're up there in the Labrador Sea right now. Just tell us a little bit about the exploration and what you've found so far.
Yeah, so we're out here in the Labrador Sea and we're surveying the wreck of the Quest, which we found in 2024. And we're using a combination of robots to do a digital twin. So we're really mapping the wreck through and through, as well as the Alvin submersible to dive to the wreck to get a better sense of its condition and its state and the marine wildlife that has developed around the wreck.
Yeah. So, what do you see, and what condition is it in, and what have you been able to pick out so far to ensure you got the right vessel?
So we had done initial measurements using the technology that we had in 2024 to ascertain its identity. But now that we've gone back, we've seen key features that clearly identified as Quest. And what we've seen so far is that the wreck is in a pretty rough shape. However, the historically significant sections, which are really relevant for the Shackleton era of its service, remain in place. And so we will have good renderings of those sections of the ship. And as well, we're seeing that it's a booming wildlife habitat. So that we did not expect. Unfortunately, we've seen quite a bit of fishing nets around the stern of the ship. But it tells a more complete story about the history of fishing within the area as well. So we've decided to include it within the digital twin we will produce.
Oh, that's excellent. So look, this ship went down off the Labrador coast in 1962, but it has a historical significance that Sir Ernest Shackleton, the famous Antarctic explorer, went on his last voyage on this ship. It makes it a remarkable historic find when it comes to shipwrecks.
That is correct. It was the ship on which he had his fatal heart attack in 1922 while he was harbored in Grigvik in South Georgia. And then it had a 40-year history afterwards in which it participated in multiple additional Arctic expeditions, including surveying aerial routes between the UK and Winnipeg.
And so I understand what happened to it in 1962 in the Labrador Sea?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story. Essentially, it sailed from Norway. It was under Norwegian ownership, and it was seal hunting in the Labrador Sea. And what happened was that the sea ice crushed the hull, and during the compression, basically, it created microfissures in the stern of the ship. So the ship started leaking, and essentially, it flooded the engine room, and the ship could no longer compensate and pump the water out. So it sank over a period of 36 hours, at which point there were 4 other vessels in the area which rescued the entire ship, and we've got wonderful pictures of the ship sinking. That's very well documented, so we can really ascertain the final state of the ship and the state of the shipwreck now.
Okay, that's incredible. And of course, you're getting new pictures, new digital imagery that is being shared. Where can people see the work that you're doing now?
So far, we're still in the collection phase, so we still have quite a bit of work to process all that data so we can really communicate it to the public correctly. So we'll do some verification over the next few weeks, and then there will be a more formal announcement with the whole entire digital twin to the wider public for education purposes in the coming months.
Okay, that's great. And so how long are you going to be there? And of course, I believe this vessel is some 400 meters below the surface, is it not? And are you stationed on the water now, and then you're going to be going back and forth, or is it just like one dive, it's still down there?
So that's correct. The wreck is 400 meters down, so we use what's called dynamic positioning. So our ship is located directly above the wreck of the Quest, and we are lowering and doing multiple dives with both the manned submersible and the robot. We've done 3 already with the robot, and we've done 4 dives with the manned submersible, and the expedition's not over. We're then going to go to the wreck of the Terra Nova off Greenland, which is also associated with the age of exploration of Antarctica. So that's the first wreck we're doing as part of our expedition.
Yeah, and this expedition, through the time and so forth, and the digital creations that you're sharing with the world, preserves our naval history, and of course, it's important to look back on these things, and we learn a lot from not only from the wreck itself and what happened, but we learn a lot about what's happening below the surface, and how that life is created around these vessels and so forth, are we not?
100%. So what we've seen is that surrounding the wreck, it's almost a desert of wildlife, and then suddenly you come upon the wreck, and it's an artificial reef, and you see it's booming with wildlife, different types of wildlife, including endangered species, and at the same time, as you said, it's a way of celebrating our naval history, and the history of fisheries in the area as well, and the history of exploration. Both ships were strongly associated with Canadian history, particularly the Terra Nova, where it served as a seal hunting vessel out of St. John's for several decades. So we're really celebrating Canadian naval history at the same time as we're gathering information and informing future research moving forward. Yeah,
so that's fantastic. And look, I know we had a little trouble connecting with you this morning. Now that we're able to do it, we're going to reach out again, and we're going to follow you on this exploration that you're on, because it's very interesting. And of course, the people of Newfoundland and Labrador know only too well about the shipwrecks around our coast and the history that lies below the surface here in this area. The work you're doing is extremely important and very interesting. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. It would be a pleasure moving forward. And yes, it's a great history to celebrate for the people of Newfoundland and the Eastern Canada.
Okay, Antoine, thank you for your time. Antoine Normadin is with the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. They are continuing an exploration of the Quest that sank in 1962 in the Labrador Sea. They are there now. They are above the wreckage, and they're exploring, and they're going to do some more shipwrecks around the area during this mission.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
We're going to go to line number 4, where we have Daryl. Daryl, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Darren. How are you today?
Not too bad, sir. What's on your mind this fine Thursday morning?
Oh, what I'm going to talk about today is healthcare, and what I'm going to talk about, the system right now here in Newfoundland Labrador is more or less, from myself outside looking in, is geared to east to west, like St. John's, Corner Brook. And when you got more hospitals in this province, like, say, for Gander, for example, and so forth, to me, is not being utilized to its capacity. Like you look at, for example, you got a cardiac cath unit in St. John's, right? And everybody got to go to St. John's. So I know cases like here in Gander, people have been in the bed here 2 or 3 weeks waiting to get into St. John's. So you're not only the wait time, but you're tying up beds when it don't have to be. And for example, like Gander got an MRI unit here in Gander, yet if you got to go and get an MRI for your heart, you got to go to St. John's, even though you got an MRI unit here in Gander. So what I'm saying, for example, not only should you have a cardiac cath probably at the health science, but maybe you should have a unit in Gander, for example, which would alleviate a lot of these problems, because a lot of times people are just waiting to get in St. John's, and you're tying up other resources because you got to be transported by an ambulance back and forth and so forth, when you got other hospitals that could be doing the same thing, not only just east and west. And there a while back, a gentleman was on the news. He was from Grand Falls, Windsor, talking about his daughter, for example, and she got referred to Corner Brook, and Corner Brook couldn't take her, and she ended up in St. John's, and then I think she ended up on life support. So I hope she's doing well, in a case like that. But what I'm saying, if that didn't happen, if they didn't had to wait in Corner Brook and then go to St. John's, if the facilities were here in Central for, like, say, for the cardiac cath, or if it's your kidneys or whatever, like you had certain things, certain hospitals, like, say, St. John's, Corner Brook, then you alleviate the strain on the system. And I advise the government, take a look at Germany, their model, how they run their hospitals. They got a public system that is a fantastic system. For Germany, like for the hospitals, For seniors, take a look at Sweden. For wait times pretty well don't exist in the Netherlands. And for doctors, take a look how Norway have done it. And I've addressed all this with the Health Accord, a few years ago, whenever the case may be. And in my opinion, I'm going to state the facts. There's like the Health Accord, the Green Report, and all those reports, in my opinion, they just sit on a shelf and collect dust, and a lot of stuff is not being acted on. And it should be, because the system could be a whole lot better than how it's performing today. And I think there a few years ago, a Canadian delegation, I think of doctors and so forth, I stand to be corrected, they went over to the Netherlands and those places, study how things work, and they come back, and yet then nothing happens. So this is the problem. So why is this happening, and how come we're not exploring all these options for the better?
Yeah, and thanks for that, Daryl. And I know some of the things in the Health Accord had been acted on, and of course we've had a government change since then, and I'm sure they're reviewing exactly what it is that they want to do out of that going forward. I know some of the urgent care facility model is still under, it's still staying and adopted. But the issue you raise is we have these facilities. I'm going to say Clarenville, Gander, Grand Falls, different areas. We have healthcare facilities. Are they being used to the extent they should be, offering the types of services that are being offered, like you said, east and west? Why not have those services offered in these facilities that we already have? Now, I think, Daryl, you're calling from Gander.
Yes, I am. Yep.
I don't know what the state of the hospital is there in Central for the services, but some of the healthcare facilities that get built in different places, they're not utilized fully. There's room to do expanded services and so forth. And of course, as we know with our aging population, when you start moving seniors over great distances that are in compromised health, it doesn't help them a lot either. Matter of fact, it may jeopardize their scenario. So the question you got is, are we using our health facilities the way we should be? Are we getting the most out of them for the people in the area?
Yeah, and we are not, Darren, because I do my homework before I speak on issues, and I'm told, like, Gander's over capacity, I'm not sure, it could be up to a couple 100%. And in a case like that, the reason why, because a lot of people are waiting to get into long-term care homes, and there's not enough beds for that. And that's why I say take a look at the Sweden model, for example, different countries and how they do it. I mean, these countries are way ahead of us when it comes to all this stuff. Seniors, providing health care, as I just listed out. So, I mean, you could utilize all these buildings for the better, because to me it's not being utilized. Like for example, like I just stated, someone's waiting to get a MRI for their heart and got to go to the cardiac cath unit in St. John's. I know in cases I did here in Gander for 3 weeks, taking up a bed, waiting to get in just to get that done and then come back again. Yeah. But if you had that here, like for Gander, that unit in Gander, then it'd be done, and you're not tying up the system, and the backlog is not as tremendous. Like that young lady in Grand Falls, I'm not sure if it was kidney issues, whatever she had. Her father was on NTV News, so rather than like the Grand Falls referred her to Cornbrook, and Cornbrook said no and went back to St. John's. How come that shouldn't have been, like, that situation should be held to dealt with at the Grand Falls Windsor Hospital? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Daryl. And it's a great point that you make about the utilization of the facilities that we already have. We're not talking about building brand new big facilities for X millions of dollars. Have a review of the system. Try to cut back on some of the wait times that we're hearing for months for different procedures by having more use of the facilities we have. Cuts down on emergency wait times and all that sort of thing. Daryl, I am way past the 10 o'clock news, as you can see by the clock on the wall. call if you still have one of those. I'm going to cut to the break. Thank you very much for raising this. Please call back again. These are great thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me on your show, Darren. And I also like to, the Minister of Health, I'm under to understand she's going through some health issues herself. Yep. And I'd like to wish her very well and all the best and quick recovery, like to her and her family. And I'd like to wish them all the best.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
And right now, in a world where there's all kinds of bad news and controversial news and fires and so forth, there is always good news on the horizon. And I have Steve Martin with WHAM Events. And Steve, you have good news for our listeners. For anybody that remembers back in the day, and I'll say that may not have been out that long ago, but there was a big wine show in St. John's that people used to fight for tickets to. And you, WHAM Events, are bringing it back. Welcome to the show.
We're bringing back, thank you very much, Dan. We're bringing back the wine show. So YYT Wine Show, live at the St. John's Convention Center, October 17th. Tickets are on sale for noon. So we ran a little pre-sale for our WHAM Insiders Club yesterday, and the VIP sold out. Our general admission, we're very close, so we're anticipating big sale at noon, but it's exciting to see these food and bev oriented events come back to the city.
Wow, so the tickets are going on sale at noon today. Timely interview for sure. So, Steve, did you attend those wine shows?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I don't think I was at the very last one, but, when I was a little younger, it was definitely the beer, the wine, the spirits. It's just a great night out.
Yeah.
We are seeing these events kind of, they're trending right across the country right now in terms of food and beverage style events, and it's time that we see them back in Newfoundland. So we've been spending some time carefully looking at what events we want to run through WHAM, what the public's going to like, how can we feature some of our local producers and bring these events back.
Yeah, and when you talk about, you've been to them, you know the vibe of these types of events, and I'm sure there's people listening out there now that are thinking back to maybe headaches they had the next day after trying a little too much wine at the wine show, because wine representatives from all over would have their wines there. There would be you would buy your admission and you would get sampling to taste the wine. There'd be like the cracker or the bread, whatever it was that would clear the palate, and then you'd move on to the next vendor. And when you found the wine you liked, you could purchase it on site, and sometimes you'd see people going away with cases of wine. Is that the type of thing we're going to see again?
Partially, yeah. So, when you go into the NLC, there's so many different wines. You never know really what one to try. There's always new features popping up on shelves. So we're currently working with this province has a lot of amazing agents when it comes to spirits and wines, and we're currently working with them, developing our wine list, which is going to be available hopefully soon on our WHAM website. In terms of store, we're actively working with the NLC. NLC has some great staff that we're currently working with. You won't be able to carry out product from the store, but we are working so you could select it and pick it up at an NLC location. So we're very early in details on that, but we hope to have some sort of opportunity where people can select wine and pick it up at a later time at the NLC.
Yeah, no, and I think that's probably a great idea, because I remember they used to have like the pallets of cases of wine, and people would, if you're there that night, then you had to take ownership of your wine that you wanted at the time, possibly worried about supplies of some of it. But what about variety from this province, Atlantic Canada, and then, of course, from around the world? What are you looking for?
So yeah, we've been really focused on getting this thing up and on sale. We have a collection of agents that we're working with now, and I hope within the next few weeks we're going to have a list that people can check out at yytwineshow.ca, and we'll have a full PDF manual there that'll tell you exactly the brands, the regions, etc., full tasting notes on the wines that we're selecting for this. And ultimately, it's a great night out, and that's what WHAM Events is trying to provide. An opportunity to get together with your friends, bring business to restaurants, bars and restaurants around the city, and come to this night out with your friends and enjoy the products that we're featuring.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is a big night out. And of course, I remember, they used to have it down at the Delta. And of course, people would stay at the Delta or downtown somewhere back in those days. And of course, we didn't have as many hotel options as we do today. So there's lots of options in the downtown for people to stay, make a night or a weekend of it. But the show itself, it was a great vibe there. People, comparing different things, talking about wines and so forth, and learning a lot about wines as well. That's an important part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and timely to bring up the hotels, we just secured our hotel sponsor for the event, which is the Delta. With the event being at the St. John's Convention Center, you don't even need to walk outside to access the Delta. You can take the catwalk. So we're actively getting that information up on our website for people who want to come enjoy the night, enjoy the show, and stay the night. The Delta Hotel is certainly our event partner for that. And you're right, like the room is going to be completely filled with different types of wines that people can mix, mingle around. We do have a VIP wine experience. So Collingwood Spirits and Wines are our sponsor for our VIP lounge, where we'll have some upscale products, some hot and cold hors d'oeuvres, and some tastings throughout that lounge. And in our general admission room, which is our main area of the event, there'll be a lot of food activations happening around the room, and there's just ballpark 150 to 200 different wines to taste throughout the evening.
So the tickets go on sale at noon today to the public. I'm sure they're going to disappear fairly quickly when the word gets around about them. But you mentioned it when you first come on, and I know your partner in this has a local craft brewery as well, right? So there's different things to have. But I remember years ago that there was even like an international rum show here, and there was beer tasting shows and all these different things. Is WAM Events looking at all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so right now we're working on trying to create a well-balanced calendar of events. So we recently just did our cocktail festival at Oish downtown. It's our second time running that as kind of our inaugural event that we ran. So we just did that in June, and our focus now is wine. So when you're running these events, it's, the venues around the city are premium. It's hard to get dates. So we're actively working, trying to keep up with the calendar. We might have some more exciting news coming soon on an outdoor beverage event. We do have a teaser on our website called Sunset to Summer. If people head to whamevents.ca, you can catch some preliminary details on that event. But yeah, we're just trying to bring back the fun events that we used to see in around the city, and make sure public has access. They're happening everywhere else in Canada. They can certainly happen in our province as well.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that's taken off in the last few years, of course, are people that love the flavors and the tastes of different types of these refreshments, but not so much the alcohol. So the non-alcoholic world has taken off quite a bit. Are you looking to incorporate options there as well for people that want to be part of this, but want to buy their ticket, want to come down? You got friends that may want the wine or the beer or the rum or whatever it is you're doing in your events, but there's an option for them as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Like our wine show is definitely going to feature. I mean, you're absolutely right, Darren. There's a lot of amazing non-alcoholic, ready-to-drink products that are hitting the shelves right now at our local grocery stores, NLC, etc. So we definitely want to feature. Also, it's important, when people are at our events, to drink responsibly, take a break from the wine, check out the non-alcoholic options, visit the water stations, and so on. So, you can expect a non-alcoholic setup at all of our events moving forward.
Okay, that's incredible. So just tell us a little bit again about the event that's coming up at the Convention Center in St. John's, and where people can get their tickets for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is Saturday, October 17th, 7 to 10 p.m. at the St. John's Convention Center. And people can visit yytwineshow.ca for tickets. And like I said, they're on sale at noon today. you can tell when there's a buzz around these events by the number of questions you're getting, the increase in followers, the increased engagement in social media, and that is happening with this event. So we love to see everyone there. You know, we want to keep these events rolling in the city, so we're very excited for it, and we hope to see everyone there.
Okay, that's great. And this is a one-off event. Would you consider adding to it if the I guess the desire was there from people?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a discussion because, you know, as much as we want to run these events, we want to accommodate everyone who wants to attend them as well. So, you know, we'll see how the sale goes, get back to the drawing board, discuss, and go from there if there would be another show. But right now we're just focused on the 7 to 10 and getting everything sold for that.
Steve Martin, WHAM Events, thank you very much for joining us this morning, telling us about this event. And I'm sure based on what I've seen in the past with these types of shows, it's going to be an overwhelming success. All the best in the organization of this and going forward. Thank you very much for your time here on Open Line this morning.
Really appreciate it, Tom. Hope to see you there, Darren. We'll see you there, right?
I don't know, but you might see my wife.
Thanks for the time, Darren. Appreciate it.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
I have Francisco. Welcome to Open Line.
Hi. We're Digital Seniors NL, and I'm calling to invite everybody to our next workshop. It's going to take place in the Lantern. This is located in 35 Barnes Road.
Yeah. So at the Lantern on Barnes Road, what's it all about, and what can people expect when they get there?
Well, every week we talk about something different, right? For example, scam calls and text banking online without worrying about clicking anything wrong, video calling, and we teach seniors to use the digital, their basic digital tools from the day, because we have found the necessity that a lot of seniors have been left behind with technology, and also they are the major target for scammers online. So we teach them how to identify all these scams, how to identify if anybody's trying to get information from them, and how to be safe online.
Yeah, so this is important stuff. And of course, with all the scams that are going on now, the information that you can share with any seniors that are looking to brush up on some of their online and digital skills goes a long way to protect them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it's, we have a long way to go because, a lot of the scams, they change every day. If they know that people know how to identify those scams, they come up with new ideas, and we try to keep up the pace with them to teach our senior citizens to stay safer and away from any scam.
Yeah, and so other than the online protection stuff, are you teaching them basics of getting into the digital world? And when I say the digital world, we're talking about the computers and all these different things that are available to people these days.
That's correct. In our workshops, we talk about something different every workshop, and also these workshops are divided into two sets. The first hour, we talk about we give a presentation. We talk about any application or technology of interest. We teach seniors how to use it. For example, our next workshop is going to be on July 11th. It's going to be this upcoming Saturday. And this one is called Tools for Everyday Use. And in this workshop, we're going to teach seniors how to use things like Google Maps, Google Translate, and any other tools that you find in the Google Suite, like Drive and everything around it. And in the next hour, we have one-on-one sessions with the seniors, and if they have any specific question about their device or any app they want to learn how to use, we attend also those specific demands or try to answer that in the best way possible.
Yeah, so then it's kind of like an open forum. Then people get to say, I want to use this, or I've heard about that, tell us about this, and give us some advice. But yeah, so you get it broken up into different things, and you do something different every week. Is there a common theme of question that you get generally just about from every different group that shows up to take advantage of what you're offering? Is there something that stands out that people just really want to know and want to feel more comfortable with?
Yeah, I feel like most people are afraid to get into to dive into the digital world because a lot of them share with us that they have previous experiences that sadly they didn't went very well, so they restrain themselves from using technology. But also, like, this restraint is leaving them behind because like to do your bank operations, even to make a doctor appointment now, you need to do it online. So this is like the most common thing. We see like somebody had a bad experience, they restrain themselves from using technology, but now they are left behind. So we try to address this in the best way, like how to use it safely so you won't be left behind.
Okay, well that's incredible. And it's open to seniors. This is the group is called Digital Seniors NL. Is there a cost?
No, our workshops are free, totally free. You just show up there. You take any device that you want. Can be a phone, a computer, a tablet, whatever you have around, and you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah, okay, no worries. So that's great. And where again and when again are your workshops? And are they like an ongoing thing?
Yeah, so our next two workshops are going to be in the Lantern. This is located in 35 Barnes Road. And there's going to be a July 11 and July 18. Then this is an ongoing thing. It's we have them every Saturday. But we're going to take a break during the summer, and then we'll pick up back on September 5. And they'll keep going through all the way through October 10. And we also offer this workshop once a month, a Saturday once a month in the public library, AC Hunter.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That's great. And for any seniors out there that want to get into the digital world or learn more or have specific questions, the workshops are at the Lantern July 11th and July 18th. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Okay, going to line one right now where I have Jennifer from Beagle Paws. Jennifer, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Darren. How are you?
Good, good. What's on your mind this morning, Jennifer?
So just wanted to let everyone know that there's going to be Beagle Paws Rescue will be having a summer barbecue, their second annual summer barbecue, being held on Sunday, July 12th from 12 to 4 at the Elks Club. So this is a great family fun event. Bring your kids and bring your dogs, of course. We're going to be serving hot dogs, hamburgers, veggie burgers. There's going to be games for adults and kids, games for the dogs, and it's a little beach potty. That's the pun there, the potty.
There you go.
Yeah, so, and, for people to come and dress their dogs in their best beach wear for a chance to win a prize.
I'm sure you got some treats there for the puppies, too. You got some treats for the puppies?
Yes, absolutely. Lots of treats for the puppies, pup cups, and different types of treats. And we're going to have some live music as well. We've got Barry Fitzpatrick playing. We've got Ann Devine playing. So it's going to be 12 to 4 at the Elks Club, and just a nice, great family event if you're out and about and want to drop in somewhere and, stay for a bit.
Is it a bit of a fundraiser, Jennifer, for the Beagle Paws, or is it just an event to have fun and not to worry about that?
It is a fundraiser, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a small cost for the food. But yeah, it's a fundraiser overall for the rescue, as the rescue are fundraising all year long, of course. To help so many dogs in their care, and all the work that they do throughout the province.
Jennifer, I'll go back just a few years. During COVID, it seemed that anybody that wanted a dog and didn't want to buy one from I guess, a production facility or people that breed, you couldn't get a dog in Newfoundland. They were bringing them in from all over. What's the status now? I'm seeing on socials and on websites that it doesn't seem to be hard. There's lots of dogs out there looking for homes.
There is, yeah. I'm not that close to that part, but yes, I can say there is. There's Beagle Paws do have a number of dogs in their care, and as well as a lot of other rescue organizations throughout the province. Yeah, there is quite a few dogs, cats, that are looking for homes. So I definitely advocate for adopting. We've adopted 3 dogs, or 3 Beagle Paws dogs, over the years, and try to continue to help in whatever way we can. And there's a lot of people out there looking for animals, and a lot of these animals just, they really need, they just need love, care, and a great home if you can open up your home. And Beagle Paws also have a fostering program as well, for anyone who would like to foster. And, you can go online and fill out a fostering application similar to filling out an adoption application, for anyone who's interested in that.
And, of course, money from the fundraiser helps care for the dogs that are in your care until they get either fostered or get a forever home, F-U-R-ever home. And thank you very much, Jennifer, for that. It's July 17th from 12 to 4, and it is at the Elks Club in St. John's. Drop by with your friend and enjoy the afternoon there. Lots on the go, bit to eat, bit of fun, and beach potty. Dress your puppy up if you like in some sort of beach wear or beach-ish style of costume, and you might get a prize out of it too.
But Darren, actually, it's July 12th.
Oh, July 12th. Sorry, wrote that down wrong. So
yes.
July 12th. What's today? Today is the 9th.
Today's the 9th.
3 days from now, then. There we go. All right.
It is, yes.
Jennifer, thank you very much for your call. Appreciate it, and all the best on the weekend.
All right. Thank you so much, Darren. Take care.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
We're going to go to line 3 where we have Lauren. Lauren, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Well, good morning, sir. How are you?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad. What's on your mind today?
I'm wondering about our health care system in Newfoundland, because I'm waiting over 10 years now I had a back surgery done 10 years ago, and it never worked out, okay? And anyway, so I kept pushing, and then I decided, I'll go to laser treatment in Ontario, which costs anywhere from $25,000 to $42,000 out of my own pocket. But anyways, that's the side point. But when I mentioned that to a doctor here in Newfoundland, he said, "Oh, we got a better one than that." So I said, "What in the hell am I doing waiting all this time?" That's only lately. This was that right back in February. And anyways, when March it was, how do you say, whatever, don't matter. But anyways, when it's called a stimulator. When I started reading up with it online, because you get everything today online, a stimulator has been put in your back or wherever. It's something similar to a little heart thing, right? And anyways, it controls your pain and suffering and all this kind of stuff. So I got to go to Halifax for it. So they said that they sent the thing in right away. That was back in, say, February. And I haven't heard a sound about nothing since. And when I called up there, the office is closed until July the 20th. So I don't know if I'm going to get it done or not because of my age or whatever. But, I haven't heard it say you're going through hell on earth. Well, I'm living it every day of my life, every day.
What kind of back issue did you have? I'm sorry, I know you said you had a back issue, but what happened? What happened to your back? What is the issue you're having?
To start with, I had a disc gone in my back, anyways, after the surgery, Dr. Maroon, well, he's dead now, but anyways, he told me, he said, you must have had lots of pain. I said, well, I had my share. Because he said, you had 2 pinched nerves in your back. And anyways, after I went to Corner Brook last fall, because I had probably had to wait a couple of years to get in St. John's for an MRI, so they sent me over to Corner Brook, which I went on, and I had it done. And they come back and said that, well, I got another compressed nerve right in my lower back. And doctors here tell me they can't do nothing with it, but they can install a stimulator, which would help me an awful lot, right?
Yeah, and I'm assuming, Lauren, that you're suffering with sciatica caused by this.
You got it right. You got it exactly right.
And anybody that's ever had that, it's one of the worst things that you can have. I had a couple herniated discs, and it took about a year, but I got it sorted. But during that time period, that's awful pain to have to live with. Every time you make a step, you're worried about, whether it's going to bring you to your knees or not.
Well, you know what? I'm to the point now. I got to use a walker at all times, and I can't even stir to my car unless I got a stick. Okay. Yeah. So I'm in misery all the time, the whole time, from 24/7. I'm okay while I'm lying in the bed.
Yeah.
But you lie in the bed so long, I'm not used to that stuff, right?
And sitting is bad. Sitting is terrible for your back in that condition.
Terrible. It is the worst, actually. And oh well, my God! But I just can't get no satisfaction.
And you've been 10 years trying to get this sorted with your back, and there's no operation they can give you that would I don't know. We hear of these fusions and all these different things. Sure, Tiger Woods has had his back operated on 8 times. I suppose he's got all the money in the world, so he can get whatever he wants done. But have none of the people like that you're dealing with here in Corner Brook and or in St. John's have suggested some sort of surgery that could alleviate some of these issues for you?
Well, now listen, I got to explain this to you now. They tell me they cannot do a surgery because when they took a disc out of my back, hoping it's going to take the pressure off the other ones, right? Well, I got 4 to 5 weeks of it, maybe, right? And it was perfect. I just walked every day, which the doctors advised me to walk as much as possible. And then when I come back with vengeance, right?
Yeah.
So you can't do anything for me. Only put in this stimulator, or have a laser treatment on, right? But sure, I listen. If I got to, I'll sell what I got to have the laser treatment done. But Hair of Jesus, I just don't know how. I don't know which way to turn because I still like to have a house net to come back to when I come back from Ontario. Say if I went to Ontario, right?
Yeah. So they can't do any of that for you here in any way or any timely manner at all?
You know what? Of all the times I've been to doctors and everything else, it was never once for any physiotherapy, nothing, not a thing. Because my understanding is now that they can do laser here in Newfoundland when you go to see a physiotherapy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That hadn't even been mentioned. And only for I persisted so much to push so hard for the get thing. It was not even talked about a stimulator, nothing. My understanding was that you just can't do nothing else for me.
Yeah, and yet you're finding out there's these options now. And are you able to get any of this done? Have you spoken with physio or any of that? Do you have a path forward? Is what I'm getting at, Lauren. Have you now that you know all this information and what's available?
You know what? It's funny because you do most of this stuff through the doctors, right? And I try to stay on the best side as I can with the doctors.
Yeah.
Even though I never got treated with very much respect from most of them. But I got a great doctor now, I must say. But anyways, I can't say his name or nothing, but he is a wonderful doctor.
Yeah, good.
Sit up and talk to him just the same as me and my brother talks, actually. So, but anyways, I don't know why. I can't get a hold of anybody in Newfoundland to give me any help with anything.
So you know what's happened to you.
Painkillers I want. Yeah. I'm even after taking OxyContin and everything.
Yeah. So
it makes no difference to me. No.
Yeah. No, Lauren, I understand because the sciatica is incredibly debilitating. I'm just wondering, have you spoken to a physiotherapist? Have you been to a physiotherapist?
I've been to chiropractors.
Okay,
right?
have you been to a physiotherapist?
No, I can't get no appointment with them.
Well,
I get one now.
No, I understand, but there's private physiotherapists, right? Like you can
Yes,
book
that's what I'm talking about.
you can book an appointment and go see a
I get one for
physiotherapist.
the endovirus. Endovirus is the best I can do, right?
Really? Okay. All right, because and I know they're busy and all of that, and but you might want to check around. Like they're private businesses, right? They're like dentists. You can.
Oh my God! I mean, I'm after doing all that. Yes, there's no doubt about that. I'm after checking out everything I think that I can think about. Right?
Where do you live, Lauren? What part of the province?
In St. Lawrence.
Oh, you're down the Burin Peninsula. Okay,
down the Burin Peninsula.
And there's not too many of them in Marystown or up in that way that you can go.
No, they're very few. There's one person in the Southland, I guess, yes, Southland, that does the laser treatment along with the physio, right?
Yeah.
But getting in there now, have fun.
Yeah.
First thing everybody wants to know is this an insurance job or is it a compensation job or whatever, right?
No, I understand.
I'm 76 years old now. I'm retired, right?
The proliferation of physiotherapy and all of that is based on insurances cover it as well. But look, man, in the pain that you're in, if you had to go to St. John's or wherever to see a physiotherapist to get a process going, I encourage you to do it because I understand the pain is just excruciating. To be this long at it and to not have been given the information in the beginning is not disappointing. It's absolutely sad, boy, sad.
And sad, very sad. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
To have to go through this much misery, well, like I always said before, I'm living through hell on earth. There's no answer but about any of that. Right?
I understand. And anybody who's never had it, they'll never understand. I don't wish it upon anybody. But look, Lauren, I'm going to leave it there. Get in to see the physiotherapist or make whatever arrangements you have to get in, see the treatment, and give us a call back after you've been able to do that and see and let us know if it's having any effect. But one of the things that I learned through this process is there's no magic cure. Once you get the physio and you get the help you need, it's a process. It takes a bit of time, and you've got to do things on your own to help yourself. Once they give you the regime as to what you need to do, and it takes a bit of time. But I have found 100% relief. 100%. Now, I didn't have a disc removed. I'm not in the situation you were in, but hopefully they can find you some relief for this because it is absolutely terrible, the pain that is caused by sciatica. Lauren, I got to go to break, but is there something you wanted to finish up with and say?
No, I'd just like to thank you very much and for everything. And, I didn't want to wait time too much because I'm 10 years waiting now, okay? So thank you very much for everything. All
right, Lauren, you take care and give the show a call later on when you start to get some treatment, see how this is going for you. We'd all love to know.
Man, you'll be the first to know.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Look, nothing says summer like barbecue, and I have the guy on the line right now that's going to help us all with our barbecue summer. Jason Janes, owner and operator of the Barbecue Emporium. Jason, I believe you're in Deer Lake, is that right?
That's correct. Sunny Deer Lake. It's always beautiful.
Excellent. And Jason, welcome to Open Line. Great to have you on. Look, a couple controversial things right off the top. Metal scraper, wooden scraper, dry, cold, hot scrape. How do you handle that for a barbecue?
So, yeah, that's a good way to start a conversation about barbecue. Always comes down to safety. So safety is first. There's a couple items I'd like to talk about. But the first one you talk about is metal scraper versus some other form of cleaning your grill. Important thing is make sure you clean your grill. Metal scrapers, bristle ones specifically. Again, this year, you can go and just Google it. Tens of millions of wire bristle scrapers had to be recalled in 2026. It's a safety concern. Don't bother using them. Find a tool that works for you. We did introduce back in 2017 the juniper barbecue scraper made from locally sourced juniper. It's a great, safe way to clean your grill. It's effective once you get used to it and make some good grooves. And if you follow the Summer Road show, you might even get one for free.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Yeah, so the barbecue scraper is a great way to keep your grill clean. Absolutely. But there are others out there, just don't use a bristle brush.
Yeah, okay, there you go, because you don't want any of those pieces getting into your food, and of course that gets into you. And look, a friend of mine gave me a wooden scraper a few years ago, and I got to be honest with you, I didn't know what it was. What's this for? Was it actually going to work? But I still have it, I still use it, so good. Look, dry rub, wet rub. What's the best thing to do there?
Yeah, so people have their preferences. Now, it really comes down to flavors. We promote dry rubs. That's the thing that we focus on predominantly. Sprinkle it on. If you're cooking a steak, for example, sprinkle some seasoning on your steak. Depending on how thick it is, give it a nice coat. Let it sit. You'll see all the juices come to the surface of the steak. That's the salt pulling the moisture out. And then if you leave it there for another 10 or 15 minutes, you'll notice that moisture all goes back into the steak, drawing the flavor into the steak. People do like using a wet brine from time to time. I'm not a fan. I tell people if they're trying to tenderize their meat, they're better off spending a few dollars on a better cut of steak than they are trying to make a less quality steak taste better, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. You make the best of what you got. Absolutely. And tell me this, sticking the fork in the steak, flipping it a bunch of times. How best to handle the steak on the barbecue for timing and so forth. And and I guess you're going to say thermometer always.
Yeah. So we cook for the public, and we serve to the public from time to time for special events. So safety is important when you're cooking and serving to the public. So we make sure that all of our products are cooked to proper temperatures. And we use a thermometer to check. At home, that's not as important. When you're at home, you get a sense of how you like your steak or your chicken or your fish or whatever it is you're grilling or smoking. Puncturing the meat is not really as detrimental as one would think, except if it's what they call blade tenderized. If you're buying a steak and it says blade tenderized on the label, that means a machine has punched a whole pile of holes down through it, and that took all the bacteria from the surface into the meat. So you want to make sure that that meat is cooked thoroughly before you eat it. Now, when it comes to cooking a steak, we all get our little tips and techniques and sort them out. Mine is I like an 1.25 inch thick cut steak. I get my grill hot. And how I test my grill is if I can put my hand over the surface of the grill for only 3 seconds, it's perfectly hot. But please don't burn your hand. This is just a tip trick that I've used. I put the steak on for 90 seconds. I turn it 45 degrees for 90 seconds. I flip it for 90 seconds. I turn it again for 90 seconds. I take it off the grill, leave it on a plate for 10 minutes, and then I cut into it. Most importantly in that step is the rest at the end. Letting it rest as long as you've cooked it is absolutely critical.
Oh, okay. There you go. So that's the hard part, right? Because when it comes off the grill, man, we want to eat it. But and I know you're flipping it 45 degrees. You're trying to get those cross grill marks on that steak, right? Looks much more appealing. Jason, tell me. Look, everybody loves barbecue chicken. You gotta do that right, though. How do you do that?
Yeah, so it depends on which cut of chicken. So let's just say you're doing chicken wings. There's a bunch of different techniques, but a chicken wing, you want to keep turning them so they don't burn. But chicken wings, you want to cook them till they're right around a 200 internal temperature, and then they will just fall right off the bone when you're eating them. If you're cooking just chicken breasts, they tend to be, cook them on the bone if you can, instead of boneless, skinless chicken breast, because you need a little bit of fat with a chicken. Again, chicken, you need to turn a little bit more so it doesn't burn, or turn your heat down and let it cook a little longer. You do want it to get to an internal temperature of 165. However, my favorite are chicken thighs. I like taking a chicken thigh with the skin on it and cook those chicken thighs so the skin is facing down and that skin starts to crisp up. And once that skin starts to crisp up, I turn it over onto the opposite side and I let it sit there on the on the grate until it reaches an internal temperature of 165, and you have a delicious, juicy chicken breast. The big thing with all of barbecuing is don't be afraid to experiment and try new things that, I didn't know you could barbecue that. And I can guarantee you can barbecue it. I do Oreos wrapped in bacon. I do smoked cream cheese all the time. I like doing smoked paella on the grill. It's unlimited what you can cook.
You're now my hero. I can't believe you just said those things. Oreos wrapped in bacon. Are you kidding me? The best,
They're delicious.
The best thing to do with a burger on the grill. Tell us about that. And is there any no-nos for sticking stuff? Look, I know people that, and myself, I put maple syrup in there. I put onions in there. I put dry rub stuff and mix it all together and so forth. What do you think? What's the best?
Oh my goodness, that's again a personal preference. I call them Goonie Goo Goo burgers, but you may know what I'm referencing with Eddie. Oh my gosh, the comedian. I can't even think of his name now. But anyway,
Eddie Murphy. Yes,
Eddie Murphy.
Because he didn't get McDonald's. His mother made his burgers.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. So whatever you want to put in a burger is absolutely fine. The only thing that I suggest is don't put barbecue sauce on your burger until the last couple minutes it's on the grill or even after it's off the grill, because the barbecue sauce on the surface will burn and caramelize. But burgers, again, are whether you're cooking them from ground beef that you form into a patty or a patty you buy in the store, just put them on the grill, let them cook on the grill. Don't touch them. Put them on the grill and leave them. When a burger is ready to be flipped, it will have released from the grill. A burger first goes on, it sticks to the grill. After 2 minutes, it'll start to release from the grill, and once it's fully released, then you can flip it. You'll have no sticky bits of beef left on your grill at all.
That's a great tip, Jason. Jason, and look, for anybody that is listening to this and hasn't written some of this stuff down, we rebroadcast this. This is on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It'll be on again tonight. Great tips, so you can listen to it again. But just before we sign out, Jason, anything else you want to tell people that'll make for a great barbecue season for them?
Yeah, barbecue safety. The province has put in place a fire ban, so barbecue safety is extremely important. The provincial fire ban does allow for propane, charcoal, pellet, smokers, whatever you name. It just requires you to be safe. St. John's itself may have different rules, I'm not sure, but the rest of the province, you're okay, but please be safe when you're barbecuing. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us here at the Barbecue Emporium. We're here to help. We want to build a barbecue community. You can find us on social media. You can visit our website, or you can give us a call at 709-635-8101. And, we'll love to chat with you. Ask away.
Jason, thank you very much. Jason Janes, owner and operator of the Barbecue Emporium. And I've got, look, Dave just came in and handed me a K-Rock Rocks, the Barbecue Emporium wooden grill cleaner, scraper. Fantastic, made of juniper. It's safe, natural, and clean. Incredible product. I love seeing this. Jason, thank you so much. Appreciate your time this morning. The Barbecue Emporium is in Deer Lake. Take care now.
Take care.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
I'm on line 2 now with Colin. Colin, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bent. How are you today?
Not too bad, sir. What's on your mind today?
Before we get to my topic, I just wanted to talk about your caller earlier talking about barbecue tips. And he mentioned the Oreos wrapped in bacon on the grill.
He did.
I'm already channeling my inner Homer Simpson.
I know.
With drooling and everything, you know?
I know. And look, I'm one of these people that says you can wrap anything in bacon, it'll taste good. But an Oreo, I mean, I never even thought of that. That's incredible.
Oh, man. I'm here drooling, right? It's
I know.
Quite embarrassing, actually.
I can almost hear you say, "Whoa, Oreos in bacon."
Bacon. Oh, man. What a laugh. That was great.
Yeah, no,
I wanted to talk about the NATO summit and Donald Trump's performance at the summit in Ankara, Turkey, earlier this week.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently, Mr. Trump doesn't realize that the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is not Vladimir Putin, even when he sat across the table from him 3 feet away at a press conference. You know, he repeatedly referred to President Zelensky as Vladimir Putin in this press conference. And, you know, nothing to see here, folks. There's nothing wrong with the old man. Everything is fine.
Yeah, he's made those kinds of mistakes before too, right? And I think there was one clip I saw not that long ago. He even missed his wife's name. You know, one of the things that happens, and it absolutely happened with Joe Biden, you know, and of course now everybody's on Mitch McConnell watch, you know, wondering if he's even still alive. Although there's 2 people saying this morning they've chatted with him. You know, the physical competency of leaders has questioned. I think Hillary Clinton slipped getting into a vehicle one time, and then that became the news for about 3 weeks during a campaign. And of course, now we're at Donald Trump is saying things. It's hard to tell if it's a medical, physical deterioration or if it's just Donald Trump.
Yeah, you know, he also referred to the Islamic Republic of Iran as the Islamic Republic of Japan. I'm not a mental health expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But to me, it appears that there's on the face of it, there's something wrong with him. In addition to other things that I think are wrong with him, you know, okay. I think he's a psychopath. But that's just my own opinion. But you know, you got to be on your A game in that job. And if he's not only a risk to the United States, but he's a risk to us and all the American allies too, right?
Yeah, he says stuff, and he said so much stuff now, and I think, you know, even supporters play down a lot of stuff that he says, oh, he was only joking, or all this or all of that. But I think that they're all so used to, you know, he talks off the cuff, so he gets things mixed up sometimes. We all do that, of course. But he talks off the cuff and a lot of times and says, you know, whatever crosses his mind, you know, and thinks it's so. And, you know, but all the people around him, I think, are prepared for that now. You know, like they're ready to either you know, apologize for him, and they don't apologize, or they qualify what he says, or I suspect they're ready to jump in and take over if need be.
Yeah, it's very interesting that. You know, I can see this, and obviously other people can see this, but people in Moscow and in Beijing at the top levels of government in those countries, they see this too, and they can perceive that as a sign of weakness. And he is the one in charge. It's not Vance. It's not Hagstead or anybody else. It's him. He gets to call the shots. So if they perceive him as being weak, whether he is or not, just the perception that he is weak and indecisive and there's something going on with him, these countries that are adverse to the United States and us, they're going to try something. They're going to push his buttons, and that could be very bad. He's back onto the Greenland issue again. He's repeatedly stated at the NATO summit again that the United States needs to have control of Greenland. So it's like things pop into his head. It'll be there for like 2 or 3 weeks. It'll make the front page of the news, you know, the top of the news cycle. It'll disappear for a few months, and then it comes back again.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, I think what tempers people around the world that may see his physical or his mental status or what he says as weakness is tempered by the fact that he has no trouble sending the military somewhere to do something, and that may be the equalizing factor in that, you know. And I know, you can jokingly say, well, what if he gets mixed up and sends them to the wrong place, you know? But the only trouble I see about that is the inequity and the imbalance of where he sends things. He sends the military to protect oil in Venezuela and in the state of Hormuz, of course. But they fly past some human atrocities that are happening around the world and don't help very much there. I did note, though, and I had to look it up, that they have sent a fair bit of money to help in the relief efforts in Venezuela from the earthquakes. But you know, other places are still suffering as well. But maybe that balances it out. Maybe they, you know, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we don't mind bombing places. It's okay. We have that in our mind now. Maybe that balances out the mental aspect. I'm not sure. It's hard to know.
Yeah, it's not, you know, I understand physical impairments and things. I mean, the United States has a history of presidents who've had serious physical ailments. President Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, he was in a wheelchair. He had polio, but he was the leader through the Second World War, you know. And he did a great role in leadership in the Second World War.
But would he have won in the television age? Right?
Yeah, really. It's all about perception,
you know,
right?
Richard Nixon sweat profusely in a debate with JFK, and JFK narrowly edged him out.
Yeah, and Kennedy had a lot of health issues. He had Addison's disease and a very bad back, but he projected youthful appearance and youthful vigor, even though he was at times very ill in his life. You know?
He was good on TV, right? He didn't sweat.
Yeah, that's right.
If Richard Nixon hadn't sweat the way he did, I don't think there's any doubt that Nixon wouldn't have been perceived as, you know, not having it together, nervous, you know, just handled it poorly, was under pressure on it, and so forth. All those commentaries led to Nixon losing against JFK, and the world would have been a completely different place if he had won.
Absolutely, and it's all about perception these days, especially with television and now the internet and other digital media. Everything is, you know, from the moment you step outside, if you're the president of the United States, from the moment you step outside the private residence at the White House, you've got a microphone or a TV camera in your face 24 hours a day.
Right, and we saw that during the campaign with Hillary Clinton when she slipped getting into a vehicle. Yep. And then, you know, some of the news agencies and so forth was, is she physically able to handle the job? You know, and that became like a part of that whole campaign is, you know, is there something failing in her health that she's not able and doesn't have the stamina to do this? And it gets highlighted. And of course, the way the media is now, of course, in the States, there's no balance in news. You can be a conservative news station, an ultra-conservative news station, a liberal or Democratic station. You can be whatever. You know, it goes to the spectrum. Balanced news, hard to find. Like, that doesn't seem to happen as much anymore. And I know that changed in '86 when Reagan lifted the requirement. There was a bill that had a requirement for it wasn't balanced, but it had to be fair, I suppose, in your broadcasting of political views, and that when that got lifted, it led to the, you know, I suppose to some degree, the formation of specific political view stations, and that's, you know, people choose to watch what they agree with. Unfortunately, not what's actually possibly happening, and of course, who can tell you what that is?
Absolutely, it's well, you know, you were in the television broadcast media. You were a reporter. So it's incumbent, I think, and I think you might agree with me, that any stories that are being put out by the media, the television media, they have to be fair and balanced.
You got to be fair. You don't have to be balanced.
No.
And you know what I mean? Like, that's a very fine line. What is balanced? You know, because if there was a rule that it had to be balanced and somebody spoke 3 seconds longer than the person of the other view, is that balanced? You know, so you get into all that. Fair is what it is. And of course, when you provide a view, you try to provide the other view, or at least offer the opportunity for the other view, of course, right?
Very good.
And that's a Canadian thing, and probably other places in the world as well. It is not required in the U.S. anymore.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for your day, sir.
Colin, thanks for calling in. A bit of fun talking about our friends of the South and the state of the world, and we solved absolutely nothing, but it was good to chat about it, and it's therapeutic to some degree as well. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely. I feel better even right now.
You're just thinking about them bacon-wrapped Oreos, man. That's all you're thinking about.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Right now, I have Donnie Earl on line 1, and of course, Donnie Earl, Ward 5 councillor, representing the Goulds area primarily of the city of St. John's. Donnie, welcome to the show this morning.
Oh my God, don't go saying I'm representing the Goulds area only, my God.
No, I didn't say that. I said primarily.
Stoutlands and Galway will have my head.
Oh, there you go. You got it all, man. Look.
Shea Heights, Kilbride, Castlebridge, Brookfield Road, Waterford Heights.
You're busier than a provincial cabinet minister, sir.
We got a big ward going on, and it's an exciting position to hold.
I bet it is. Like, are you relative in not geographical, but in population size to the other wards in the city of St. John's?
Yes, the unique situation with my ward, it covers such a long area. We're stemming from, right into the end of Middlepond, in say where Fables meets up with the city limits, and then we got Shea Heights, Southside Road, Blackhead, Brookfield Road, Castlebridge, Southlands, Galway.
I can tell you this, and you probably know that since I worked in the news business, that ward has expanded dramatically. I remember when the Goulds were annexed to St. John's, and they just added the councillor for that area and added it on. But that's a big area. But the reason we got you on this morning, there's a new fire hall going in the Goulds area, and right there on the main road. That is a huge leap forward in safety for that area, is it not?
It's a long overdue welcome addition, not only to the Goulds but to the surrounding areas. That we'll be able to keep safe now, and timing is the key. We see that yesterday with that fire that they had on Kenmount Road. Response time is key to everything, whether it's a fire or a vehicle accident, no matter what it is, our first responders, the faster they get there, the better chances we have of somewhat of a not dangerous outcome, or what we're looking for, a better outcome from a bad situation.
Yeah, and given the location, pretty strategic for that area, such a residential and such a, and of course wooded areas and all of that, right on along that side of the city. Do you know if there's going to be new equipment purchased to station there, or are they going to redistribute equipment? Have you heard anything like that yet?
I haven't heard of where or how we're going to. Where the vehicles are coming from. I'm not sure if they're going to be new or if we're just going to move them from another fire hall. That's a question that I guess probably, I guess the fire department would better be to answer that question than me.
No, absolutely. Well, you can sit around the council table and vote for more expenditures to stock up that fire station for sure. You'll get that opportunity at some point down the road. How long will it be before the station will be completed? Is there any word on that yet?
So it appears to be to me, the information that I've been given, that obviously construction has already started. And it says that it is expected to be finished by January of 2028. Now, obviously, the timeline could change, could take a little longer, could happen a little earlier, but it looks like we're expected to have it finished by January of 2028.
Yeah, okay, well, that's not too bad. And of course, you can't depend on any of that because anything can happen in the meantime that could throw that off a little bit. But 2028 sounds like the target. And of course, Councillor Earl, there has been a great volunteer fire department in that area for a long time doing yeoman service for the residents out there. But this means there will be full-time full-time staff 24/7. That's a big change.
It is a big change. We had an incident where we had a fire down in Maddox Cove just a couple of days ago, and our career firemen, if that fire had started between 8 and 4 p.m., our career firemen would have left the Gould station and responded immediately, which meant we would have got there faster. But our volunteer fire department, when they take over, they wouldn't respond to a fire in Petty Harbour. Then I guess it would have to come from our station there in Brookfield Road there on Topsa Road, or the one there in Mount Pearl, say by the Kent, what used to be Plaza Bowl and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so they just have a longer distance to get there for sure, and of course that's a big area. Getting up over to Maddox Cove and Petty Harbour, that area, a long ways to go. You cut the trip in half, I would assume, because you're right there next to, I would say, Petty Harbour Road. You're not very far from there, and right over the hill. So folks in Goulds must be hearing that people are pretty pleased with this announcement.
This has been a long time coming. The Goulds is a part of St. John's now for a little over 30 years. It's an addition that we need. A step outside of my councillor role. I'm very excited for it. We need it. We deserve it. It's a little bittersweet to see, our Goulds Volunteer Fire Department. I mean, those men and women have responded and gone into situations voluntarily. Like these guys, all firefighters, all first responders, I look at them as superheroes. I mean, especially our volunteer fire crew. These men and women have, daytime jobs and nighttime jobs. So not only when they're volunteering, say if they're on shift tonight, and if they get a call at 4 a.m, they're out the door gone, no questions asked. They have no idea what they're going into. And then hopefully they can get the situation resolved and under control and straightened away so that they can get home and, have a slice of toast or some cereal so that they can go to their daytime job. So, it's very proud of our volunteer fire department. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I sometimes get very emotional when I speak to stuff that's close to my heart. And I just recently depended on, the Goulds Volunteer Fire Department to help me with a medical issue that I had myself. And long and behold, in through the door walked a young man who I coached at fast pitch softball. So, there's both sides of it. You know what I mean? I'm very happy, very delighted that we're getting this new fire hall. And I hope some way, somehow, our volunteer crew, our volunteer firemen and women, are always kept a part of our community.
And Councillor Earl, I'm sure they will. I know that in my town, the volunteer fire department, replaced by 24/7 staff firefighters, the volunteer group are recognized and included and part of the new system that's in place, and I'm sure that they will be part of that going forward. That is and I'll say it like this: that is the firefighters' way. They look out for each other.
One big family. I'm honored and pleased to say that I've been invited. The other day, I wasn't sure if it was going to be their 50th or their 60th anniversary, and it was my bad. But in August, I'm going to have the opportunity to attend the Goulds Volunteers' 50th anniversary of service in our community and the surrounding areas. And I'm going to tell you what, you will not find a better group of people to keep our community safe and the residents than the Goulds Volunteer Fire Department. I can't say enough about them. I've personally needed their help over the years. I grew up in Babel's Big Pond, and that place could be a disaster in the wintertime. And they always found a way to get through when there was an emergency or an accident or a moose vehicle accident. You know, I remember one time I believe there was a taxi company from the Southern Shore, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I was young at the time, but I believe the taxi company, the young woman had her baby in his taxi bus, and I believe they came in and removed them by snowmobiles. So whatever it takes to get the job done. And that's just a little story that I remember as a young kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and many times while we're asleep in our beds at night, not too worried about anything, there are volunteer firefighters out somewhere ensuring our safety and ensuring the safety of the infrastructure of a community, and of course doing incredible service. I don't think anyone can know what it's like to be a firefighter and what they face unless you are one. So all we can do is sit back and tip our hat and thank them for the work that they do. And of course, the legacy, 50 years, congratulations to the volunteer fire department in the Gould's incredible legacy. And I know they'll be recognized and included in the new fire hall out there. I'm sure they will. It's the firefighters' way, like I say, and they look out for each other. Donnie, did you want to say anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I'd just like to touch for a second on this situation that we have going on over in Cochran Pond Park. Southlands, Galway, big part of my ward. Haven't been saying a lot about it because we are working very hard behind the scenes with our provincial government, the city, the RNC, the fire, St. John's Regional Fire Department. We are going to get this right. We are, at all costs, going to keep all residents safe, not only in Southlands and Galway and the Goulds and Mount Pearl. We are going to get it right. We are going to keep our city and our residents safe at all costs. It's just a little. We just need a little bit of time to figure it out, because when we do it, we're going to do it right, and people will feel safe in our city. So Cochran Pond, is high on our radar, and we will get it done, and we will get it right.
Councillor Earl, thank you very much for your time this morning. All the best. It's great to hear about the new fire station out there, and you take care, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you again. Thanks for making time this morning.
Thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate the opportunity.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Welcome back to Open Line. We are in the last half hour of today's show, and up next I'm going to go to line 4 where I have a caller. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Not too bad. What brings you to Open Line this morning?
Well, the last caller, and I've written notes down just because there's so much, and I just want to make it as compressed as possible. But the last caller was a good segue as to what I'm going through. Now, it started with one pinched nerve in my lower back, and then when I was this is now going on several years, to give myself traction, I crushed my head and my neck, and my jaw is obliterated. It's been going on now a couple of years. The jaw on one side is obliterated. My neck is, the surgeon said, your neck is a mess, quote unquote. And though I had 2 surgeries in January, one back to back. I had one, there were complications, had to do a second. It's still not 100%. So I'm dealing with a lot of pain. And then prior to this, I had an extremely healthy lifestyle. Okay, there's the background there. There's what I'm dealing with. So it's a lot of pain day in, day out. From that, I had to move in with a relative, which is embarrassing in itself. I thought I'd be able to support and everything here. There's another relative and her husband who stays upstairs. And they have many houses to go to. They own many houses. But they're up there, and there's the dynamics are not great. It was great for about a month or so after we moved in, maybe 2 months, give or take. And then, I don't know, something happened, and it switched. But, it's not a surprise. I said to another relative, I said, I think she's changed. And they said, no, don't believe it, don't believe it. Anyway, yeah, that was proven true. Anyway, I'm looking for help because this is where I am. I am trying desperately to get my health back to the place where I can productively, reliably go to work again. Since being here, it's like not a coincidence, because every time I leave, like I have a child in two children in different provinces, but when I go to visit one of my children and I return, my car has been damaged. Like, that's happened 3 times already. My bike, now I don't have a room downstairs. I have a little space and it's very damp. I've done primer. I've done everything I can with these spinal injuries to try to cover mold, and it's pretty desperate. And my car is always damaged. I had those 2 back surgeries back to back. Second one, I was in hospital for 4 days, and and then I got a call because they went away for Christmas. I'm always eliminated from everything. Like, it's it's like a team, 2 against 1 type of thing, and try to get other people involved. It's very narcissistic, and I'm not into all that. I was gone for so many years. That being said, the car has been damaged. I just found out last month that I pay my part of the bill. Well, I apparently have been paying for upstairs too. So the car has been damaged. My healthy food, because the external, like spine and all that, is so damaged. It seems almost irreparable.
So what are you getting done for your back then? What do you do, or your spine? What are you getting done for that? Where are you in that process right now?
In that process, I've had 2 back surgeries in January. And then before they returned from going away for 3 months to one of the houses in, that upstairs owns, I got a call just not even 6 weeks after, before the return, and this is the manipulation, Darren.
I'm sorry, you've lost me. I'm sorry, I got to stop you. You've lost me in the call. I've asked you where you are. You had 2 surgeries in January, and so what is the next thing with regarding your back?
Well, I had to call a patient advocate, really, because I had no direction. And there's like this lump in my throat. The surgeon thought maybe it was, I didn't know this at the time, the surgeon thought maybe it was related to my neck, because he did x-rays in February or March or something, and he said, it's pretty messed up. I said, okay, so what are you going to do? But there's been no answer to that. But what he did do, without my knowing, was he sent me to an ENT to see what that lump is, or if it's affecting something he possibly can do. But it didn't seem too hopeful that he can do anything. Now, I have another appointment with him, but I don't know if that's because my back is still not 100%, and it just feels like it's about to go out. Are you
going to see the ENT soon?
I've already seen him.
Yeah.
And he said it's fine.
Okay.
He said, except for my jaw. My jaw has, where it's obliterated and it sticks out.
Yeah.
What I've been asking for is to be sent to like a maxillofacial or someplace like that.
Yeah, you can get a referral to a specialist to deal with that sort of thing.
Right.
I think there's orthodontist clinics in the city that have specialists that and I'm sure that aren't even located here, that are in the province. Once a month or something like that examine those sorts of things. You should be able to get a referral through that. So I guess through this call, what is it you're hoping to accomplish here this morning?
I need help. Not medically, because I am suffering through this, and I'm just trying to stay calm, trying to deal with it and work with the doctors and do what I have to do and advocate for myself. That being said, like I said, when I go away, now it's painful. I was an extremely healthy person before this. Like, truly daring you. I mean, sculpted, muscles, you name it. So this is massive lifestyle change. Like I say, I'm in a bad situation here. I would not be here if I didn't have to be. I thought there'd be support, but it's actually flipped against me. I'm doing nothing. But there's this, I mean, I've seen it my whole life, and my relatives say, "Oh, I've seen that, your whole life." And, well, as a child, why didn't you pick up for me?
So you have a doctor,
anyway,
though, right? You do have a doctor, And
this is not so much about. This is not, Darren. This is not so much about the surgeries. This is, I need to know where I can go, because I've been asking. I need out of here, because when I have gone away, I get a legal letter. Now, I am doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. I'm bringing that one person.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? And forgive me. You can, it's just a yes or no, or you don't have to answer. But are you a senior?
Yeah. A senior?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. There are seniors advocacy groups out there that might be able to help you, or certainly might be able to direct you in a way that maybe gets you some sort of relief or some sort of answer. I can look them up and give that number out after the break, but I can do that if you want to listen and keep a note of it. But honestly, given your situation, I mean, that's about all I can do here. Now, if there's somebody out there listening that thinks that they can offer up some advice that might benefit you to try and get you to the next level, and certainly support you, help you get through this.
What I need is to get out of here. What I need to get out of here, because I cannot endure any more damage.
Yeah, you need somewhere else to live, right? Is that it?
Yeah. Okay. I need out of
here.
Well,
we need to connect you with a seniors advocacy group, and we'll do that. I'll reach out to Dave, and Dave can either give you a call back, or we'll just read the numbers out on the line. You give them a call and set up a meeting with them, and go see them and see how they can help you, because you definitely need some help and you need some support and guidance, and I want to make sure that you get that. So I'm going to.
Darren, I'm ganged up on. I'm honestly ganged up on.
Yeah.
On Friday, this was kind of the breaking point. Well, after, in March, I was told to shovel the steps for the one upstairs, and shovel. This is 6 weeks after 2 back surgeries, and to shovel her spot in the driveway.
Yeah, no, look, you can't be at that, and you need an advocate in your corner. So look, we'll get you that.
Right.
We'll get you those numbers, and after the break, and hook you up there. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through this terrible situation, and hopefully the seniors advocacy groups can help you with this. Thankfully, there are some, and we need to get you to reach out to them, and then and go from there, and hopefully they'll find you some help. And if you want to give us a call back later on after you've met with them, that would be great. But I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Yeah. Sorry, what's that?
Okay.
You go ahead.
No, I said I have returned, and the locks have been changed for no reason.
No, I hear you.
I was willing to sleep in my car because I was going to see the surgeon. I had to see the surgeon.
Yeah.
And then I'm welcome with open arms. Psychological warfare that's going on is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, you need an advocate in your corner, and we'll get you the numbers that you can call, and hopefully they can help you and get you the supports that you need. You take care now. We're past the news time now. Thank you, everyone, for calling Open Line today. We'll be back again tomorrow morning for Free for All Friday. I'm Darren Bent, and enjoy your day.